She comes out with a nice everybody, yeah. It's just cool.
Six more places up here, if anybody would like, please.
Luke will give you a signal if it's 5 before.
5, perfect, thank you. 6 more places up here, please. We have candy, we have cookies, we have a picture of Puerto Rico. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more places. Do I get anybody over here, please? Thank you very much. And if you have one of these, there's another prize for you. If you're sitting in a place with one of these cards, there's another prize for you at the end. Yes. So half of my suitcase was full of presents. Okay. Nice card. Thank you. Okay, we got 2 more places. If anybody wants some candy, some cookies. It looks like no more people are coming. Yeah.
Okay, good morning, welcome. Glad to see there's so many people interested in what to see in Puerto Rico, where the great restaurants are, the great bars, where you can go dancing. And on top of that, there's still something more. Sylvia Fernandez, she had the opportunity to work together with Dr McGee for 2 years, and she will tell you everything about it.
Thank you all for being here. I wasn't expecting such a big crowd today, so but I would like to ask the people that are sitting with one of these colored cards to silently look for the person that has the same color card than you do. Okay, the same colored card. The ones that have cards, please look for the person that has the same color. You can stand up. You can stand up and go around. Don't feel restricted to your chair. Because I would like you to sit together with that person, if possible. Okay.
Take our stuff with us.
We have to sit together, Sylvia.
Match. Yes.
No.
Okay, so
No.
No?
okay, so yeah, when somebody finds you, yes. But
Yes.
Yes.
Two people.
Yes.
Yes, two
What are we
people
supposed
have
to
the same color. Only two people.
What are we supposed to do?
Yes, sit together. Sit together with the person. There's only three? Two people only, yes. Sit wherever you like now. But together, please.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, has everybody found their partner? I think you're with Michael? Check. Yes? No? Yes? Yes? Okay, perfect.
The time is over, Sylvia.
Huh? Time is over now.
The
Yes.
time is over.
Okay, so I will begin. If you have found your partner, sit by them. If not, please sit by someone so you can do things together, the exercises. Not too close, okay? Give him some space. All right, perfect. So first of all, a lot of people ask me, what do you do for a living, right? Sometimes we try to get in contact with people as adults, and what is the first thing we talk about? Work. Is this the first question after you ask somebody's name? What do you do for a living, right? And I say I breathe. And why is that? Because if you don't breathe, you can't do anything. Correct. So this is the first lesson I learned. When I stopped working with Dr. McGee, and I'm wearing these glasses because I sometimes forget, but I see things through rose-colored glasses. Have you heard that saying? Yeah. Yeah? So people complain that I only see life through rose-colored glasses. And I think they're envious. And this is one of the other things I learned from Dr. McGee, and we will talk about that in a little bit. But the first thing is, what are your expectations of this presentation? Can I get 2 or 3 people to tell me a little bit about what they were expecting from this presentation?
A very lively woman bringing the presentation.
A very lively woman bringing the presentation.
Yes.
You will definitely get that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
colleagues.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Well, I aspire to inspire. So hopefully you will get that too. Anybody else? So far so good? Anybody else? Some expectation about the title, for example. Dr. McGee. A big doses of McGee. Thank you. That's what I was hoping also to provide to you. Excellent. Okay, so our true nature. I've learned that many secrets of happiness starts with the hearing and trusting of the heart. This I learned with Dr. McGee. When I started working for the federal government, which Dr. McGee was working for in Puerto Rico, I knew nothing about people with disabilities at all. Nothing, very little. I have 2 PhDs in psychology, and I knew very little about the people with disability at the time. This was more than 20 years ago that I studied psychology, so there was very little known, especially in Puerto Rico. But I did learn that our true nature is happiness. I would like to ask you, invite you to write down a question that you have, specific question that you have that you wanted to know about Dr. McGee in a piece of paper. Any question. If you had Dr. McGee in front of you, what would you ask him? A little piece of paper. You can write your name or not. You can write your email or not. But I will try to answer some of the questions here. And the ones that I don't get to answer here, I will answer through my email to each one of you if I get your emails at the end. If you don't have paper, ask somebody beside you, maybe they do. I have some paper here. Anybody needs paper? Yes. Yes, you can share.
Só de casos.
Any question you can think of. You can ask for his birthday or ask for the experience that he talked about the most, at least to me.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
The little problem.
Any question about a client that you have? About yourself? Okay, time is almost up. Okay, so you've probably seen in these 3 days, you've seen people that met Dr. McGee for more than 30 years, or people that met him 20 years ago, or people that he visited 3, 4 times, maybe 10 times. I only had the chance to be with him for 2 years. But I think it's an intensive 2 years. Thank you very much. If you can pass the questions up, that would be great. I think it was an intensive course for me in the sense that I saw him every month for 1 week, at least 8 hours a day, and I say at least because we had sometimes more than 8 hours the same day that we were working together. And I say working together, but if you know gentle teaching, you know gentle teaching has nothing to do with work, right? So when I see gentle teaching and work in the same sentence, it doesn't make any sense to me. Thank you. How many of you agree? Do you see gentle teaching as work? You do? Yes and no. Okay, thank you. Can you explain?
Where is the limit between giving yourself completely to the other one and also take care of yourself?
Excellent question. What is your name? Juan? This is an excellent question that I only learned after I stopped working with the people with disability. I get goosebumps. I just learned this about 2 years ago only. Where is the limit between giving yourself to the other person and this empathy and yourself, right? In psychology, we are taught the client is first. In my family, I learned the other person is first. My mother is always, the other person is first, the other person is first. I learned this. My sister is teaching her daughters, the other people are first. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. When I met Dr. McGee, he had coffee for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. not good. I think here, when I came here to meet Luke and his wife and the family here in Belgium the first time in 2011, after several months, maybe 6 months after started working with McGee, he ate here every lunch, the breakfast, great lunch, and great dinner. But because the Belgian people are very great hosts. But in Puerto Rico, he was work. Visit people, help people, visit people, help people. And in my first week, I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm human. I need to eat, I need to pee, and I need to sleep. So this is a very good question. I don't see gentle teaching as giving yourself whole to the other person. I don't see it that way. And I will say for me, because can only answer for me, and I am definitely not Dr. McGee. I don't look like him. I don't. But from what I learned from him, and when I say I learned from him, it doesn't mean I learned from his example. It means I learned from being 2 years with him. Is that you need to take care of yourself first. There's a saying, right? You can only give what you have, correct? And we all know it. We all know this phrase. How many of us live by it? In gentle teaching, you are giving to the other. You cannot give unless you have yourself. And my presentation yesterday, those of you that were there, maybe 1 or 2 people, I emphasized the part about loving yourself. Loving yourself. Close your eyes for a moment, please, or look down, because I want everybody to answer comfortably. Raise your hand if you think that you love yourself more than 80%. Raise your hand. Okay, thank you. You can open your eyes. A lot of us still have work to do, right? And it's not even work. I call it work. I have to stop the word work. A lot of us have a lot of self-loving to receive. We treat other people sometimes better than we treat ourselves. And I have stopped that, and I have started to give myself first. And somebody else will come and say, oh, Sylvia, you're so selfish. Oh, I'm selfish because I'm giving to me and not to you. That doesn't make much sense. Not to me. And then we say, yeah, but the participant or the client or the other person, they need our help because they are here and we are here. Who says they are here and we are here? Society. Nobody else. Many of them are doing what they want to do, correct? Yes. How many of you are doing what you want to do? Excellent, a couple of us. A couple of us. But I just recently learned how to do that too. How to love myself, how to do what I want to do. And everything is just so easy. Everything is so easy when you love what you're doing, when you love yourself more than you love anybody else. Your child, your husband, your mother, your father. It's so much easier. And it comes naturally. Then you don't have to try. Then you don't have to work. It's so easy. And when I was working with Dr. McGee, after he passed, and I only lasted 2 years in a job that he did for more than 10 years. And I lasted the first year because there were all these things I wanted to do. And then the year after that, I'm like, I don't know how he did it, but I can do it. This is not life. But one thing I realized is that you have to breathe. Friendly reminder. And sometimes when you don't know what to do, when you just take a moment and breathe, close your eyes and breathe, it helps. It helps to clear the air, it helps to clear the brain. So it was very interesting because before I knew about gentle teaching per se, I was already enjoying the benefits of knowing someone that embodied gentle teaching with Dr. McGee. I am no saint, and at that time I had not figured out half of the things I've already figured out in this past 9 years. So he had to deal with a 30-something-year-old that had no idea what she's doing with life. Now I know a little bit, not so much, but and he was unconditionally loving, the best supervisor. And I asked for the best supervisor in the world. I just didn't know it was going to last 2 years. But he was the best supervisor. With participants at the courts, in the homes, in meetings, in institutions, everywhere. We hated some people there because we thought they could do a better job. And even then, he was loving to them. And I was like, I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can tell someone you're doing great when they are not. How can you tell them that? But, you know, you're lying to them. They're not complying with court's orders. And he always said, Sylvia, they're doing the best they can. And I didn't understand it then. I was like, but it's obvious that they are not giving them the food that they're supposed to be giving them. But they're doing the best they can. And I think we're all doing the best we can all the time. We're just too hard on ourselves. I should have done better. I should have known better. You know how we talked about the clients sometimes, or the people that we work with? Well, I don't anymore, but you work with? Oh, they should have known better. Oh, they're only doing this to get attention. We do it too. We do things to get attention. We know sometimes better. We don't know better because if we did, we would have done differently. How many of us do something? We walk over somewhere and we trip and we say, oh, I knew I was going to trip there. Well, if you knew, why did you walk there? Right? So we did the best we can. We took the steps that we thought were going to be the best and still we fell. It's okay. Everything is okay. But I know better. Yes, but at the time, this is the decision that you took for whatever emotions you were having, whatever feelings you were having, whatever thoughts you were having, whatever you do is okay. But you have to stop banging your head over things that you didn't do right. Okay? And my last one here is, some people try to come up to me and tell me bad stories about Dr. McGee. And I'm like, keep them to yourself. I knew the last 2 years, and I think it was his last 2 years were the best. So it's good to not tell me the stories. So I will talk about how now I perceive the lessons that I learned from my experience with him. So it's not all of them are what he said or what he did, because I was telling him, I need water. Here's water for you. I brought some candies, or I brought some NutraBar, one of those things. Did you have breakfast? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, you can have it anyway. It's like, okay, and ate it. I really didn't have breakfast. So taking care of myself was one of the things that I learned after I finished working with people with disabilities. So one of the things that I hope you learn now is take care of yourself first. So this is the best. Thank you very much for asking this question in the beginning, because if you take something with you today, is take care of yourself and love yourself more. Love yourself more. There in front of you, some of you have a picture of Puerto Rico, a dog or a horse, or sometimes you have a rooster or a beach. You have a picture of Vieques, Puerto Rico, which is the island where I did my retreat work for 5 years. I was in a retreat for 5 years in this island, and now I've recovered. Now that's why you have this Sylvia here, because this little island and a man there cleaned my heart and my soul. So I want you to turn it over. If you don't have a picture, take a piece of paper and write down 5 qualities that you love about yourself. 5 qualities. Think about them fast. They can be physical, emotional, or things that you do well. 5. if you do not want to write 5 qualities about yourself, please write 5 qualities of the person beside you. Because I see some people are doing the exercise, some people don't feel comfortable or don't want to do it. Then please do it for the person beside you, please. Please. 5 for the person beside you, please. Okay, is that enough time? Yes? Okay, can I have 2 people please stand up and say their 5 good qualities?
Do you have to stand up?
Yes, please. I mean, you don't, here you don't have to do anything. I believe that, I've been giving presentation, I was university professor for 9 years. But I also gave presentations around my island of Puerto Rico, and I also took a lot of trainings and presentations. And I was one of the people that sat in the back. I was one of the people that didn't want to do all the exercise. I was one of the people that, oh, this is stupid exercise again. I was one of those. So I understand people that don't see the purpose in doing these exercises or don't feel motivated to do it. I totally understand because I was one of them. But the standing up part, I believe now that many of us are telling ourselves our bad stuff all the time. I didn't do this right, I'm not a good mother, I'm not a good wife, I'm not a good husband, I'm not a good employee, I'm not a good person. I don't know why, and it doesn't matter why. What does matter to me is that you come out of this meeting thinking better about yourself and feeling better about yourself. And one thing that I've noticed in 20 years is that if you say your good qualities standing up, you start owning them a lot better than you do sitting down. And if it's in front of this many people, it's like whoosh, it takes you up there really fast. So you can decide, you can read them sitting down because you are the first one, and I am very happy, first one to say yes. So you can sit down and it's okay also. Excellent! Let's give her a round of applause.
Okay, I'm very patient with everybody except myself. So it's a double one this way. I know.
Okay, so that's very good. What's your name?
Neither.
Nila. Please tell us only the good things.
Okay, I have many patience.
Yes.
Overall, a happy person, a good chef, very observative, so I will notice when something's off, good, very quickly, and overall very lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And if you are very loving, and I can tell that you are, then you will love yourself even though you're still learning to be patient with yourself. And it seems like you have really good friends also by your side.
That's not about that.
And if you're a good chef, I can be your friend also. Okay, thank you very much. Somebody else that would like to stand up and say their qualities, please? One more? Yes, thank you.
Just because I wrote down something. I'm passionate about what I do. Okay. I'm tenacious. I stick with it. I'll always try. And I have gratitude.
Excellent.
That's woo. That's a big one.
Yes.
And I'm open. Yeah.
And what is your name?
Deborah.
Deborah. Thank you. Thank you. You can. I believe that if you read this list every day for a month, in the morning and at night, you will feel a lot better about yourself. And the next time I ask how many of you feel good about who you are, you will all raise your hands. So it's a little exercise, takes no time, and it's got great results, not only for you, but for the people around you. Not only your clients. Okay? So I will jump. How much time do we have, Luke? I will jump to the lessons. I've been talking about lessons already. But
20 minutes?
okay, perfect.
25.
Excellent. So one thing that gentle teaching is to me is not only to see the good in others, but also to see the best in us. Whenever I saw Dr. McGee visit someone, and I don't say work with someone because it was not work for him. How many of you saw him go to someone or visit someone? Anybody? Yeah. So do you see any type of work there? No, it was not work. It's as if his soul joined together with somebody else's, and they said, there you are. So it was not work for him. He saw the best in everyone. He didn't see the outside. We went to visit a place in Netherlands where there are people with deformities, physical deformities. For me, it was too much. It's too much. I only saw that in movies, and I thought, this is movies. I haven't seen anybody like this. This is only in movies. But then I saw them in person, and it was overwhelming for me. Overwhelming. But McGee, nothing. He just saw the best in this person. He just saw his soul or her soul, joined with them, had a lot of fun together, both of them, and he left and changed that person forever. I cannot say I learned to do that from him, but I can tell you that I did learn to love myself better and to feel more connected with people. I don't know if it was his doing or the people's doing that we visited, or both, or something else. But I can tell you that since this job, my intuition is a lot sharper. I can tell things about people I have never met. I feel safe almost everywhere I go. I have traveled alone to more than 8 countries in the last 5 years. And the only place I felt a bit uncomfortable was in India, because it was like 1 a.m. in the morning, and I was with a lady from Chile that was this big, and I didn't know where we were going. I was following her with a huge bag. That's the only time I felt unsafe. But everywhere else, it's as if I can connect with people. I feel comfortable with myself and with others. And that's how I can carry a dress with really weird colors the first day of the Congress. And red lipstick. But the red lipstick, I must say, is from Tracy. Thank you, Tracy. I'm recording. So when you feel comfortable with yourself, when you feel good about who you are, you feel great all the time. All the time. So it entails feeling safe first with who you are. Once you feel safe with who you are, no one can stop you. No one can stop you. You can go anywhere and do anything, and you will be okay. Close your eyes again, please, or look down, and raise your hand, those of you that can trust 2 or 3 people in your life. Okay, great. It's most of you. That's very good. Thank those people, because these people accept you unconditionally. They love you unconditionally. You don't have to do anything to make them happy. You don't have to undo or stay quiet about what you think about anything, because it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you do, they will still love you. And that helps us to love ourselves more. So if you still have issues of trust, start by trusting who you are. Start by believing in yourself. And it's hard for some people to do that, because when they were growing up, they had parents that either didn't know how to help you grow into a self-confident person, or they weren't themselves confident and they were criticizing, or they were too harsh and they wanted you to be perfect. But again, they were doing the best they can. So don't criticize them, don't blame them. Take responsibility of who you are now. We are all over 20, I think. Yes. So now you can think for yourself, now you can do for yourself. Don't blame anybody else. Don't blame your partner, don't blame your school, don't blame a teacher from 7th grade, don't blame a bully from 5th grade. Take responsibility for who you are and how you feel about yourself now, today, from now on. Okay? Once you feel comfortable in your own skin, you will see everything with a clear lens or a rose-colored lens and an open heart. And by open heart, I don't mean take anything and everything that everyone gives you. That's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. Yeah, this is a little bit about when I started working for Dr. McGee as an assistant in 2010. Many people, I left a university position that I had for 9 years. I left it because I was not happy. And people, you're crazy, what are you doing? You're not gonna find a job, not like this, blah, blah, blah. And then guess what? The best boss, the best life experience, the best people, everything changed for me in 2010 when I left that job. I wrote a book on positive thoughts, which I have 2 here to give away. Everything, my life changed completely. Because I started doing what I wanted to do with my life, not thinking about what others needed of me, but what do I want myself? And I left this job knowing I had the ability, I have the capacity, and I know someone or something is taking care of me, and everything's gonna be all right. But I wanted to do something that I was passionate about. I wanted a supervisor that would motivate me to go to work, that would teach me something that I didn't know. Wow, did I get a lot of that. Yes. Not only one teacher, Dr. McGee, but everybody else in the community in Puerto Rico. All the people that we visited, the caregivers also, everybody. We can learn from everybody. We don't have to come to a conference to learn. And those of you that have children, I don't, but if you have children, write down, and this I said yesterday, write down the qualities that you want them to change. Usually, you have them. To a smaller or greater degree, you have them. And once you change them, it will disappear like this in them. You won't see it, but you have to do it yourself first. You have a dog also? Works with dogs also. Okay, so a beauty or a challenge. And this is what she was saying also in the beginning of the meeting today. Visiting people diagnosed with intellectual and developmental disabilities is a beauty to some and a challenge to others. When I first visited them, I didn't know how to interact with someone that would put their face in my face, that would spit on me when they were talking because they were full of medications. Somebody that would hug me and wouldn't let go. Somebody that, I only got hit twice, thank God. But somebody that would run naked and didn't care. Somebody that would throw the food. I hadn't seen those. I worked in a psychiatric hospital. I worked before that. I worked in a detention center, young male detention center. I didn't see any of that behavior. I had no clue what to do. But the judge who appointed me this position as his assistant, and then Dr. Mead, they figured out, you don't need to know anything to love yourself. And when you love yourself, it's easy to see the best in others because you already see yourself in the best way. It's easy. So in the beginning, it was not easy for me. In the end, it was not easy for me either. I didn't know any of this until I left this job. So it takes more heart than brain. And when you're trying to figure out what do I do with this client, or what do I do with my child, or what do I do with my husband or wife, or my coworker or my boss, what do I do with them? You don't have to do anything. What do you have to do? What? What? Love and accept yourself. Love and accept yourself. this is the question to everything. McGee said the problem is not the problem, right? And I can continue saying the solution is to love yourself. The solution to everything is to love yourself. Everything is to love yourself. It takes more self-acceptance and self-love, less knowledge and less statistical information. What happens? I used to be this type of person that would say, oh, but statistics say this and this and this. What happens when you're paying attention to statistics? You don't leave room for anything else. So it's like every hammer sees everything like a nail. Is that the saying? So if you're looking at statistics all the time, you won't give a person the chance to be something else other than part of the statistic. So don't pay attention so much to statistics, please. Sometimes, anyway. More insight than physical effort. When you're doing something physically, when you're trying to hold down somebody, or keep them down, or do something, no physical works. Bring yourself down, bring yourself to a comfortable place, and talk to the person. Physical work doesn't work. How to live in a community and how to create space of security for ourselves and those around us. Okay, this exercise we won't get to do, but if you want to take a picture and do it at home, I encourage you to do it. How do I want my life to look like? Many people study something, they choose something they want to do for the rest of their lives when they're 18. What? When you're 18, you don't even know what's going on around there. And you choose what you want to do for the rest of your life when you're 18? And some people say, yes, but this is what I studied. I'm going to live by this, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to it. I'm perseverant, I'm decided, even though I hate my life. What? I heard one lady say, I moved here first, my neighbor has to go. What? And you're living a terrible life, and you're waiting for them to move in order to have a good life? No. Sometimes you don't need to be so determined. Sometimes you don't need to be so harsh on yourself. You need to be happier. You need to move into places that you feel comfortable, that you feel happy, that you feel joy. Okay, so I hope you get time to do that and give it to your coworkers, give it to your teams at home. Okay? So you can change jobs, you can study something else, you can do what you're passionate about. And some people, yeah, but I'm passionate about this. Yes, but you go home crying every day. Or you're waiting for Friday to drown in alcohol. That's not good. If you need to wait for a Friday in order to have a life, it's no life. It's only a weekend. And it's not 52 weeks that you're living out of a year. It's how many days? I don't know. How many days are there in a weekend in a year? I don't know. I have to figure that out. So you decide, you want to live over the weekends or you want to live a life that you deserve, that you came to live. So don't just choose a job, choose a lifestyle. Okay, so many of you have met McGee. Can you, instead of writing down, because it will take some time, can you tell me something that comes up to your mind about something that you learned from him? We've talked several things. Yes, please?
I only remember one sentence, and you mentioned it before. It's the problem is never the problem.
Okay, and the problem is never the problem. And has that helped you?
A lot.
A lot. Because many times we focus on something and it's not that. And what is the answer? The answer is self-love.
Yes.
The answer. Something else that somebody learned from Dr. McGee that want to share. Luke?
The slower you go, the faster you get there.
The slower you go, the faster you get there. Excellent. And one thing that I didn't realize, but I probably did get from Dr. McGee, is taking one step at a time. I don't know if you've seen me go up the steps. But since 2017, whenever I go up the steps, I go with both legs, both feet. So I take this and this, this and this, very slow. Why? Because when you go slow, you not only get there faster, but you're sure about where you're going. Sometimes most of the time, we're running to go somewhere because we're afraid we're not going to get there, or we're afraid of this, or we're not certain about that. When we start taking life slower, it's a lot more fun. So you not only get there faster, it's a lot more fun to go slower. When I travel, some people tell me, well, why don't you get a car? I like to walk. But you can get a bicycle, but I like to walk. If you take a car, how much do you see of the neighborhood? You only see from where you were to where you're at. You lose everything in between. It's like living for the weekend, from one weekend to the other. It's like running through life. You're only living the weekend. So when I walk places, sometimes I get tired, but when I walk places, I meet more people. For example, it's interesting in some countries. I went to Germany a couple of years ago to visit a friend, and I was, Guten Morgen. He's like, Sylvia, don't do that. Why? People are not used to it. Well, they should get used to it, because I'm here. But then he said, okay, then don't do it when I'm with you. And it was weird not to say good morning. I felt, and he said, people won't say it back. I don't care if they say it back. I only say it because I have a good morning. If they say it back or not, it doesn't matter. But I saw myself today walking here, I didn't say goodbye to people. I mean, good morning. They're all either running their bikes or walking. They don't even look at you, and I'm like, what? So then I said, okay, I'm going to try this experiment. Good morning. Good morning. And some people were like, what? Good morning. As if I showed them a gun or something. But I felt good because I could say good morning. And it doesn't bother me if they don't say good morning. I don't expect people to say good morning back. I just like saying good morning. So somebody else, the problem is never the problem. The slower you go, the faster you get there. Anything else? Luke has many, right, Luke? You're going to share them with us sometime, right? Yes? Okay. So, how many of you are currently in a job that you love? Is there more for you? Is there something more that you think you can give? Maybe you're a good employee. Yeah, well, maybe you can start a nonprofit yourself. Maybe there's more that you can do. Or maybe you are a director of a place and you think you can give the position to somebody else and you run another nonprofit. Or maybe you're a caregiver and you want to be a bass player. Yeah, but what about the people? What about the people? What about you? What about you? When I was trying to leave my job as Dr. McGee's position, I was like, what's going to happen to Maritza? You know, she has no family member. I'm always looking out for her. And what's going to happen to her? You know what happened? She passed away. Like that. Less than a week when I said I'm thinking of quitting, she passed away. I didn't get to see it. And I was like, okay, then I'm not glad. then I don't need to worry about her. She's fine. And then I said to my assistant at the time, I said, Dimaris, but what about this guy? You know what happened? He passed away. I said, okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm not going to worry about anybody. 2 people died. And the 2 people that I was most worried about in the program. And they were healthy. They were not happy, but they were healthy people, and they both died. And I said, I'm getting out of here. I'm killing people already. But it's interesting because I realized that this happened with Dr. McGee. He would write to me. He would say, Sylvia, I'm going next week. Please check on so-and-so. I'm going there, blah, blah, blah. The person would die. He didn't have to worry about them anymore. And I said, Dr. McGee, don't tell me you're worried about anybody else, please. This is getting weird. It happened with 3 people. Yes, so is there more? You can have a most amazing life. So decide to do it. On my first day, I won't bore you with it, but it was very harsh, but also I didn't have a job. So I said, I must stay. So I went against my own belief that everything is gonna be all right, and I stayed, and I'm glad I did. See, they helped me, Dr. McGee and the people we visited, helped me make my life what it is, and they also help me nowadays remember all the blessings that I have in life. How many of you chose the clothing you were gonna wear today? How many of you have a bed to sleep in that you chose? How many of you have money in your pocket? How many of you chose your breakfast? People don't choose. And even though they don't choose, they're still happy. Because they tie their shoelaces 20 times. Who cares if they tie the shoelaces 20 times? We check the Facebook 20 times a day. What makes us better than they? Okay, so the story of how gentle teaching began. I think everybody knows how gentle teaching? Anybody that doesn't know? Okay, so I'll make it short. He saw people pulling people, calling their names, pushing them, humiliating them, and he wrote a memo saying, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot. And a nurse came up to him and said, Dr. McGee, thank you for telling us what not to do. Now tell us what to do. And he tells this story, he would tell this story about how it all started, how he figured out, okay, I need to help them understand how people are supposed to be treated. But if you take a look at gentle teaching, it's how you want to be treated. It's based on human rights. It's based on human rights. So what they should do. And some more lessons. So this I already talked about in my family and as a psychologist, that everybody else is more important. We talked about this earlier. But it's my right to enjoy life to the fullest. It's my right. If you want to write it down, it's my right to live life to the fullest. So lessons, enjoy life. It's only when you enjoy life that you're happy, and that's the best time to be of anybody's help. It's the best time, when you're happy. So I would see, I don't know how many of you, but I saw Dr. McGee play, sing, and he says, he used to say, I'm the best clown, and I love it. And sometimes all it takes is a little bit of clowning around to make people feel comfortable. Tell a joke. I think that's how women fall in love, with jokes, right? Then sometimes they keep it, sometimes they change. But the jokes get to us. Who doesn't like to be happy? And I remember he knew a lot of songs. He would sing with people. And I didn't know a lot of songs because I don't have any children, so I didn't learn any children's songs. So every time I didn't know what to sing, guess what I would sing? Happy birthday. Everybody gets happy with a happy birthday, right? There's cake, there's candy, there's friends, so everybody would get happy with that. So happy birthday was my lifesaver. But I have a lot of funny stories with Dr. McGee. I can tell you one. We went to this home and the women were fighting with each other, and I don't know how, but he got them all to sit in a round table on the patio, and then he looked at them and he started, I was like, what's he doing? Exactly. They all started laughing. I was like, only he can do this, you know? he started, I'm talking Chinese! And he started talking Chinese with the woman, and they were laughing for like half an hour. Guess what? All the tension was gone. The women ate. The whole day went great. So sometimes it's about bringing down the barriers. It's about helping people feel more comfortable. But us feeling comfortable. Thank you. So it's not about empathy. It's not about pity. When you put themselves in their, but McGee would say, if you put yourself in the, for example, one time we went to a home here, and there was a lady sitting by the trash can. And he said, please take the trash can away. That's the first thing. So he didn't put himself in her position. He immediately took the trash away. So it's not about us putting ourselves in their position. It's about bringing them to an emotional, good place where we are supposed to be. But if you go with them to their emotional, when it's not a good place emotionally, but if they're in a good emotional place, tying their shoes 20 times, let them. Because they're happy with that. Everyone is perfect. He taught me that if we saw everyone in the best way, everyone is perfect, and so are we. We all have a purpose to be here and create the perfect balance of love. They teach us unconditional love because they cannot speak to us, they cannot shake our hand, they cannot give us a hug, or they will not, but we still love them. They are our teachers. It's not the other way around. They are our teachers. I have the presentation that I can send it to you, okay? Just give me your email. There's a really good Abraham Hicks YouTube video that talks about people diagnosed with disability, especially one with autism. It's really nice. I get goosebumps because they talk about how people with disability were born with a disability to teach us unconditional love. Because unconditional love is, guess what? Total freedom, they call it. Unconditional love is total freedom. This video is really good. I really recommend it. And all of their videos, I really like the way they see life. So don't pity them anymore. When you take a deeper look into how others make you feel, you will begin to see yourself. Getting to know myself better, looking at others. Also, please take a picture if you want of this one, but I will send you the presentation, okay? But if you want to do it now, because it will take me maybe a week to send the presentation. Okay? Yes? Ready, set, go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this picture, but this is two sisters. The one who's giving the kiss is the one that has some kind of disability, and the one with the face like that is the one that doesn't. And she was telling me how much she loved her sister and how much she loved her sister. And then the sister went up like, I want to give you a kiss. And this was her reaction. So, what does that tell you? There are different ways of expressing love. But the one with the black shirt does not feel comfortable receiving love. And she's the one that's supposed to be helping the other one. So they're doing the best they can. We already talked about that also. So be patient and see the big picture. He would always tell me, be patient. Sylvia, everything doesn't happen in the moment. Look at the big picture. We're getting better. These things are working. So step by step, okay? Celebrate everything. Okay, another thing, some people say, well, they have to do what we do. They have to dress like we do. They have to do this like we do. Who says they have to do what we do? We. If we start accepting them, it's no problem. So accept this diversity, celebrate these differences. Jose is the most patient one of all. This man that waited for 10 years to be in a nice home. So the tools, you know, the eyes, the hands, the words, and the posture, the presence, taught me how to see the participants in a beautiful way and how to get close to them. After a while, I realized I was learning about myself, not about the client. unconditional love, patience, tolerance, friendship, among many other beautiful attributes that the participants possess. Thank you very much. Any questions? He taught me how to see. Something we can do when we love and accept ourselves. And we have some references from books. And I'm including numbers 3 from Japan to people that are here, and also a book that I wrote with 7 other people. Any questions? Comments? I hope you got inspired. I hope the other information about McGee. And I will answer, I didn't answer the questions that you had here, but I will. Please give me your email and I will send the answer the best I can. And please give Mr. Luc Verbrek a hand, because he's in charge of this whole conference. And after how many years of serving this population?
38. That's your video. Hi, video. That's for you. You gave us a lot of presents.
Yes.
We gave also presents.
A lot of presents.
And always shopping.
My best.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It was nice to hear that Dr McGee learned you a lot, and he also learned me a lot. Even more, he changed my life. That's for sure. And to end, I give you 3 other one-liners of John.
Write them down.
John learned me, don't fight against, fight for. He always said, the question is not in the mind, but in the heart. And the third he learned me, go for the heart, not for the head. Thank you very much.
Also, please look at this, Dr. Sol. This is my card, even though my name is not there. This is what I'm doing now. I'm doing soul alignment meetings. In the back of this card, you will see a present that I have for you.